My dear friend James Altucher, staying in the Waldorf this weekend, made a guest appearance during the commercial break.
Staying here? People actually stay here.
They do, yeah. Brad Pitt was here for a while, too. The
So James
Brangelina
and
combo.
Brad Pitt,
yeah, I guess, you know, if you work hard enough, if you work long enough, you can come stay at the Waldorf. What can I tell you? Guys, and by the way, today's music, who is it?
Neil Diamond.
You gotta love the Neil Diamond. The market ended in the last session of the year slightly lower. The markets tried to stay mostly flat on the day, but a late afternoon mini-me rally just didn't have any legs. Biotech, retail, energy, and technology were all mostly lower on the day. How about this? Home builders and the financials were up on the day. As I mentioned last week, guys, I think those financials have actually...
go any lower.
That's what I'm saying. Well, at least in the near term. I think there's such a sentiment against the financials. We're going to get a counter trend backlash rally, 10, 20, 30% on a lot of those. We got a little bit. Those were the only ones we saw on the screen today that were green at all. You know, not only. VMware was up a little bit too. But the financials were mostly in the green, and I think that's the beginning of a counter trend. In a month, you got to be out of them again. There's a lot more pain in 2008 for the financials. What do you think?
Well, then I don't really think that the average guy should even get involved.
Well, as I mentioned on the show last week, you want to buy slightly out of the money call, say 4 or 8 weeks out. That's an option. If you don't know what these are, don't trade it. But if you know how to buy a call option, go out and put a little bit of cash into some slightly out of the money call options for a trade for a month. But no, if it doesn't work, you're going to lose the entire investment.
Or buy the XLF, the financial ETF, and just go to bed.
Or not, because that'll be down anyway if the other ones don't work either.
Haul, it's going up.
Guys, one more thing about the market I would just say, by the way, is going into 2008, everyone's trying to figure out, can you read off the first few weeks of trading, the first few days of trading, the end of the year trading? You know what? Ignore that stuff. Keep your eye on the prize. You know what you got to do to make money. You got to be diligent. You got to do your homework. Be persistent. Hey, like it. Good call. GM's had to face down a perfect storm in the last 5 years. How's that for a quick change? After destroying future sales by funding demand themselves, when Greenspan took rates to the unethical low levels back in 2002 of, say, 1%, they are now dealing with the credit crunch and the faltering U.S. economy. It's a perfect storm. To dig into the setup for GM and to talk about some of their marketing initiatives, we are now joined by Craig Bierkley, Marketing Director from Pontiac.
How you doing?
Craig? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
So, first off, you guys are, let's talk a little about the New Year's Ball, because you guys are also big sponsors of this, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we're the official presenting sponsor of the New Year's Eve activities, live activities in the square. We've got musical performances on the Pontiac Garage, which is just outside the Renaissance Hotel. So we've got Kid Rock, The Bravery, Velvet Revolver, all playing in the garage. Those will be broadcast on MTV. They'll also be broadcast on Jimmy Kimmel Live as we go into the new year. We've also got a G8 rotating in the middle of Times Square, behind the mayor's stage.
And go ahead.
Well, that's what you'd call your new hot car? Because I love the little Solstice.
The Solstice has been a huge success for us. It's still doing really well for us. The G8 is really our attempt to re-enter the rear-wheel drive performance sedan market. And we're going to market it as the most powerful car under $30,000.
Wait, but you said rear-wheel drive?
It's rear-wheel drive.
Why is that?
Won't work for me in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Rear-wheel drive really dynamically helps the car. It handles a lot better, rides a lot better, performs better. And this car is 361 horsepower, 385 foot-pounds of torque. Like I said, it's the fastest car you can buy under $30,000.
Wow, that is a lot of horsepower. When I drove a Lambo on the show, I think it had, 580-something horsepower. I know, it's pretty cool.
By the way, you're bragging.
We're talking Ferrari later in the show.
All right, but let's talk about the auto industry in general. I mean, U.S. auto sales are predicted to just basically be in the toilet next year. How do you defend yourself against that? You know,
we think the business next year is going to be relatively flat from this year. First half of the year is going to be tougher than the second half of the year.
Why will it get better in the second half?
You know, we just think the overall economy is going to get better second half of the year. For us at Pontiac, we're introducing 2 new cars next year. We expect our business to be up. You know,
Pontiac will show growth next year?
Pontiac is launching 2 new cars. We got the new G8, which is going to be a big success for us. We got a new Vibe, both of which hit us in the first quarter of next year.
Do they phase out older models?
They do. They
replace
older models. So, I mean, new product really fuels sales growth.
Are they on the lower end, I'm sorry, of like the sticker price world? Is that why you think you'll sell more of them?
The Vibe starts at under $16,000, gives people a lot of functionality.
Does it have an engine?
Yeah.
And you mean $1,600 US dollars, not Canadian?
Right.
Just checking.
Yeah, no, I ask these questions.
5-passenger, it's a 5-door, a lot of functionality. and a great, attractive sticker price. Great fuel economy, too. Gets 32 miles per gallon on the highway.
And when the overall company, GM, I mean, that's really, we're sort of talking about these macroeconomic forces, and and there has been a downturn in sales. There's actually been some negative growth over the time. And and with rates looking like everyone thinks rates are going higher next year. I made a prediction on Friday that they might actually be lower next year. But if they're up next year, how do you guys actually end up showing growth? You've got a faltering economy in the first half. Rates are moving up over the second half of the year. Do you pay attention to those macroeconomic forces, or is it all about the individual cars?
It's driven by product. I mean, not everybody's down every year, so it's really driven by new product. We've got a lot of new product. We got a really exciting new Chevy Malibu. We got the Cadillac CTS. We got the new Pontiac G8, the new Pontiac 5. So new product really fuels people's interest in cars, and will help us weather the year.
Does being in Times Square help your sales?
Absolutely. I mean, there's over 1 million people in the square. There's an audience in the hundreds of millions of people.
Because you're not giving cars out.
No.
Is it actually a good bang for your buck? You feel like you guys get a real good bang for your buck in Times Square versus,
absolutely,
say, like interstitials on the commercials during TV?
Absolutely.
All right.
You know, because what we try to do is at Pontiac, is be part of the content of the programming. So we're delivering music to a younger audience. We're doing it with MTV, and we've got branding all throughout Times Square, which is really a pretty young audience.
I didn't know that kids still watched MTV, but it is great to meet you. Thanks so much.
And I really think I am going to get the Solstice one of these days. Thanks for coming.
Very cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. All right, we're coming back with a healthy dose of quick shots, including a very important message for music lovers everywhere.